to the daily grind, and shout out to the full-time patrons. Make sure to hit subscribe if you're new and hit thumbs up if you're not a baby back bagel biting bitch boy, cause you know what time it is. It's full time.
MMA.
And what's going on, full-time family? We've got some stuff to talk about. Ben Askren believes Jorge Masvidal dislikes him because of their fight purse disparity. That's the first thing we're going to be talking about, full-time family. But we're going to talk about a few different topics on this video because we don't have time to do our daily live show before I have to go to work. So we're going to save that for tomorrow. So make sure you tune in tomorrow to the live stream talking about this weekend's fights, breaking down the whole fight card. I'm swamped. I got to do this, go to work today, and while I'm at work, I've got to still work on my predictions for this weekend's fight card. So I'm swamped, but we will still be doing a live show tomorrow. With that being said, let's get straight into the news. Ben Askren, Funky Ben Askren, believes Jorge Masvidal dislikes him because of the fight purse disparity. Now I'll read what Ben Askren had to say, but I'm just telling you right now, that's not what it is. Jorge Masvidal does not dislike people. He's not jealous of guys because they make more money than him. Jorge Masvidal is not coming out here every day taking shots at fucking Conor McGregor or any of these guys trying to clout chase for a money fight. Before I read Ben Askren's theory, his conspiracy theory as to why Jorge Masvidal dislikes him, I'll tell you exactly why Jorge Masvidal dislikes him. Because Jorge Masvidal doesn't like guys that run their fucking mouth all day. As we've seen in the Leon Edwards situation, he's not about the chitter chatter. He's not trying to just posture and talk trash with guys in their face. He's about that action, boss. So anybody that's not about that action, anybody that runs their mouth 24/7 and then gets slammed around in their first UFC fight, anybody that hasn't paid their dues, Masvidal might dislike because Masvidal has paid his dues. Now the fact that Ben Askren makes more money than Jorge Masvidal when Jorge Masvidal has paid more dues is bullshit. If you want to talk about who's the best fighter out of these two, mixed martial arts, I'm not talking about wrestling. If you want to talk about who's the best mixed martial artist, it's Jorge Masvidal. But this shit happens all the time. This ain't new. Sage Northcutt made more than a lot of these guys. CM Punk made a lot more than a lot of these guys. That don't mean they're better fighters. It just means they got more fans that enjoy that will tune in. They can sell more tickets. You know why? Because a lot of Ben Askren's fans are, in a higher tax bracket than you or I, most likely. A lot of wrestling fans have, some money. It is what it is, right? It's not like there's a bunch of fucking poverty-stricken wrestling fans. So you didn't come up like Masvidal came up. You ain't been in life-threatening situations like Masvidal's been in on a day-to-day basis coming up. And I'm not saying every single day of Masvidal's life. But when you come up in a life like Masvidal, you are in a lot of life-threatening situations. I've said before, I relate a lot more to Masvidal than I do to Ben Askren, so I kind of get this. And what I think Ben Askren's really trying to do here is just kind of, I make more money than you. Okay, bro. I'm telling you, Masvidal don't care. Does he think it's bullshit? Sure. That's not it. That ain't it, Chief. So it is what it is, but this is what Ben Askren, and another thing Jorge Masvidal has recently done. Let's check out Jorge Masvidal's Twitter. Jorge Masvidal Twitter. People hate when I do this. They said, bro, the picture's fake. Oh yeah? Alright, we gotta have a conversation here. Pause. And like I said, you guys know I'm not homophobic. Like a lot of my good friends I've met on this channel, a lot of the people I know in real life, uncles, blah blah blah. You know the spiel. I'm not homophobic, no hetero. So let's get that out the way before the keyboard social justice warriors come get their panties in a bunch, no pun intended. With this being said, Masvidal posted this picture and someone said, hey bro, stop bringing that picture up, it's photoshopped. Now, I gotta ask one question. For one, what makes you think this picture's photoshopped? Do you think somebody literally found a guy posing in a gay position, photoshopped a Bellator belt on their shoulder, and photoshopped Ben Askren's head on that belt? And if you think so, do you think that was a Masvidal fan? Do you think Masvidal has Photoshop expert fans? Like, yeah, I'm sure there's a couple Masvidal fans that are Photoshop experts, but I'm talking about the majority here. If you're talking about nerdy fans, there's going to be a lot more of those on Ben Askren's side. And also, if you know anything about Photoshop, it's extremely hard to fucking like pixelate a picture like this. Like, it looks like an older picture. So we're not going to really go too far into that. It's really another conversation for another day. I'm just saying, I don't think this is Photoshopped. And if you do have the proof, like someone's, bro, this is fake. Why do you keep showing it? Oh, when did you see this picture was fake? I haven't seen it yet. But so now Ben Askren's kind of, you know, has to respond. He has to say something to get under Masvidal's skin. So all he can really say is, I make more money than you. At what cost? So, I mean, it is what it is. Looking forward to the fight a little bit. I'm not as excited as everybody else just because I'm a huge fan of Jorge Masvidal and I know how people try to beat him, how they have to beat him. If there's, you know, if you're a one-dimensional wrestler and you're fighting an undersized guy, we know what you're probably going to try and do. You're going to probably try and smother him. Look, everybody, I am a good wrestler. I can out-wrestle somebody that's smaller than me that isn't a wrestler. I'm a fucking beast. Yeah, no. So I'm not super interested. You know, I'm kind of on the Masvidal side here. I mean, Ben Askren's cool, but you know what I'm saying? He's not no Jorge Masvidal, and I'm not talking about wrestling. So with that being said, we'll move on to the next topic. TJ Dillashaw loses his Monster Energy sponsorship, or should I say EPO Dillashaw? Because TJ Dillashaw recently popped for EPO, was stripped of his title, suspended for 2 years, and now the sponsorships are falling. This happens though. You're Monster Energy, you don't want to represent guys that are known, you know, PED abusers, especially if it's something serious, to get them suspended for 2 years and stripped of their belt. I mean, we heard about guys at like the Monster or the Budweiser retreat for the fighters, the athletes retreat. They were talking about, if you're losing, we don't want you. It was crazy. Some fucking Budweiser rep telling these fighters, you're not good enough if you lose your fight. Oh, you want to fight me? How about I fight you for a fucking sponsorship? So yeah, man, this is as expected. You see this happen with fighters. I mean, whether you go on a losing streak, failed PED test, it could be, you know, any sort of unfortunate series of events, and you could lose your sponsorships, and the house of cards is starting to fall, as my boy Mixed Molly Whoppery said. TJ Dillashaw's Dirty House of Cards. You know, it's an amazing video, and I was actually surprised, man. I had somebody tell me that they didn't even know about Mixed Molly Whoppery until I, you know, showed them on my last video and how fucking good they are. That blew my mind. I figure if you know about my channel, you've got to know about Mixed Molly Whoppery. It's just way better. You know, it's not the same kind of channel. He just makes like almost, I mean, to me it is production quality, like documentary style MMA videos. It's insane. But yeah, so if you haven't seen Mixed Molly Whoppery, you're missing out. Mixed Molly Whoppery. There's a lot of good MMA channels out there. But yeah, his video on TJ Dillashaw, Dillashaw's Dirty House of Cards, and here falls another. Another thing I wanted to talk about today, Dana White says he's very interested in having Jordan Burroughs fight in the UFC. If you didn't know, Jordan Burroughs is the guy that just ragdolled Ben Askren in actual wrestling. So now Ben Askren's going to come take it out on a smaller non-wrestler. Oh, my bad. No, I know Ben Askren doesn't make their fights. I just, you know, Masvidal's my boy, so forgive the salt. Dana White says he's very interested in having Jordan Burroughs fight in the UFC. I mean, if you know anything about MMA, the UFC, a lot of the best wrestlers in the world that do end up transitioning to mixed martial arts end up becoming the best fighters in the world. Look at the top of all your fucking pound for pound list. Look at Daniel Cormier, John Jones, GSP, Stipe Miocic, TJ Dillashaw at bantamweight. I mean, just look. Most of them have a base in wrestling, if not every single one. There's very few guys who make it to the top without a background in significant wrestling. And those guys usually have favorable matchmaking. Like, if you're like, oh my god, how did this striker make it to 12-0? They probably didn't have to fight Frankie Edgar coming up. They probably didn't have to fight Chad Mendes. They probably didn't have to fight Chael Sonnen. They probably didn't have to fight Jordan Burroughs. Ben Askren, I mean, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's, if you are a guy that came from a striking background and you get matched up with, you might beat one wrestler. What happens if you get matched up with the second? Do you know how bad it would have been for Conor McGregor's career if in his second fight in the UFC he had to fight Chad Mendes? And then his third fight was like Frankie Edgar? There would never be a Conor McGregor. So with that being said, yeah, you know, Jordan Burroughs has potential with that wrestling background, especially being the best wrestler in the world. I mean, I'm not even an amateur Olympic wrestling fan that much, you know, because I didn't come up in the sport. I didn't grow up in the sport, and that seems like the only people that are fans of wrestling are people that were wrestlers. But I even know who Jordan Burroughs is, so, I mean, I do think really, if he went to Bellator, I think he'd really have a better trajectory. You know, the UFC could bring you in, throw you somebody like fucking Tony Ferguson, and good luck. Good luck. Throw you a fucking, you know, somebody that can also grapple, but at the same time would just choke your shit unconscious. Because that's the thing about green wrestlers. If you come immediately over to MMA, you might be able to hold a guy down and win a decision, but you've got a very high chance of getting submitted and tapped out if you don't got your jiu-jitsu on point. So Burroughs would have to come over here, fight strikers, have some success, but the minute he fought someone like Tony Ferguson, a Damian Maia, somebody whose jiu-jitsu is just light years beyond his, I think he's taking a nap. But hey man, it's MMA. A couple more things to talk about. Anthony Rumble Johnson arrested for the alleged domestic violence incident. Man, I'm not gonna lie, this one incident seems like complete and utter bullshit. But I'm conflicted because at the same time, I know Anthony Johnson does have a history with this type of incident, and not too long ago, he had an incident like this in public that kind of, I don't want to say it scared me because that's not the right word, but it kind of made me think about this dude better be careful. It kind of like worried me in the sense of, this isn't a good sign. When you're going to social media admitting to like fucking throwing some bitch's mat around at the gym because she pissed you, like it just seems so aggressive and like angry. You know, like anger issues. Damn right I threw your mat. Walk in front of me while I'm training again and I'll throw your fucking mat again, bitch. Like what? Damn, bro. She was probably trying to slide in the DMs. You know, she was probably trying to get you to take a peek. You know what I'm saying? Wasn't being I'm just making a joke. But either way, not that incident in the public, but I mean, as this article tells you, I mean, back in 2000 and I'll get the exact date. Back in July 2009, Johnson faced misdemeanor charges for an alleged altercation with an ex-girlfriend on June 27th of that year. He would plead nolo contendere, which he was sentenced to 3 years probation for that incident. In 2012, Johnson allegedly struck a woman, knocking two of her teeth out, though the woman declined to press charges. Upon discovery of this incident in April 2014, the UFC suspended Johnson indefinitely. The civil case would later be dismissed and Johnson was reinstated in November 2014. Now that situation was like the Greg Hardy situation in the sense of, I mean, it was alleged, the woman declined to press charges, but, you know, you were still kind of punished for it. There was still kind of evidence, you know, but the person just didn't end up pressing charges, so it was later dismissed. But that's what I say a lot of times. Greg Hardy has had that happen one time. Every time you hear Greg Hardy, you hear woman beater. Rumble Johnson had this incident in 2014. He had the incident in 2019. He had the public incident in like 2017 where he didn't hit anyone, but it was a sign of public aggression towards some female that was supposedly bothering him at the gym. He had a stalker at one point. Like, so why does domestic violence, and I fucking hate to do this because I'm an MMA fan and you know, Rumble Johnson, I wouldn't want to paint any MMA fighter in that light. I just don't understand the disparity. Greg Hardy is the face of domestic violence for one incident. Here is Anthony Johnson's third incident, and like I said, this third incident seems to be bullshit. Absolute and utter bullshit. He was packing his stuff to get away from this crazy bitch. She starts doing whatever, we weren't there, whether she's fucking hitting him, which it clearly doesn't matter, but what I'm saying, whatever she was doing to keep him from packing his shit, he was trying to de-escalate the situation. He was not trying to hurt her, and he didn't hurt her. He picked her up, took her to another room so he could continue to pack his shit. That's a law broken. It's multiple laws. It's actually serious. That's domestic violence. You admitted you touched her, and you took her to a room against her will. That's kidnapping. If they really wanted to be fucking pieces of shit like they usually are, that's literally domestic violence and kidnapping for defending yourself. Restraining someone to allow you to leave. How can I leave here if I don't even have my shit yet? You want me to leave for 2 days while everyone calms down, then come back, pack my stuff? We're both already calm at that point, so the situation's already de-escalated. Me coming to pack my shit 2 days later is probably going to re-escalate the situation if we're not already cool by then. There's no right answer. So it's really just how the fuck do the law feel that day? Do I feel like taking you to jail, or do I feel like giving you a pass? Because if this was fucking Brock Lesnar in this picture, he wouldn't even be in this picture. The cops would have got an autograph and went on their merry fucking way. If this was Conor McGregor, we wouldn't hear about this shit for a year. This shit would be reported by, you know, like, so this situation seems unfortunate for Anthony Rumble Johnson because this time he doesn't seem like he was a piece of shit. But in the alleged incident where he knocked out a girl's teeth, I mean, I don't see an excuse for that ever. So, I mean, it is what it is, man. But this is the current situation of Anthony Rumble Johnson. Hopefully he gets through it because, like I said, this third situation he's going through right now, he seems to be not in the wrong. Seems like he was doing the right thing. Now, of course, that's not by the letter of the law. By the letter of the law, he's actually getting off easy here, I'll tell you that. Because if you pick up a person and take them to another room against their will, they can hit you with a kidnapping charge. I've almost been there. Almost done that. Literally bullshit. But hey, it is what it is, man. One more thing to talk about before we get out of here. Tenshin Nasukawa was set to fight for the Asuka featherweight title at Risen 16. The ISKA featherweight title. Don't know what the fuck that is. Sounds like some boxing stuff, right? Like they got the IBOF, the BSOF, the fucking IBL, the BRL, like all these different boxing things. And I still don't know how that works. But he's fighting for the ISKA featherweight title at Risen 16. Of course, we all know who Tenshin Nasukawa was. He's the dude that got beat around the ring like a little boy by Floyd Mayweather and was like crying home to his mama by the end. Floyd Mayweather literally went in there and punished somebody's child for them legally. Could you imagine fucking somebody like a Chinese billionaire calling the money team? Hey Floyd, my son's been being terrible. I want him to see what it's like to go 12 rounds with you. Floyd's like, man, I'm not about to go 12 rounds with some little boy. All right, let's make it an exhibition. I'll give you $1 billion, Floyd. Just come teach this little motherfucker a lesson. Floyd flies across the world to fucking punish someone's child in the boxing ring. How fucking amazing. Yo, with that being said, that's all we gotta talk about. We'll see what happens with Tenshin Nasukawa. Of course, he fought Floyd. He's been in talks with fighting McGregor. I mean, this guy's clearly got a huge spotlight on him. So he's got a fight booked, fighting for the featherweight title. I imagine he wins. You know, he's playing his own game there. He's not fighting boxing or MMA. He's actually doing kickboxing. So I would actually expect him to win in an emphatic decision. He's probably going to get some sort of double spinning knockout or some crazy shit. But with that being said, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If so, make sure you subscribe to the channel Fulltime MMA, as well as our second channel, UFC Yankovic, which is where you can catch all of our live streams for the next 10 days. We've only got we had 3 months of a suspension. We've only got a week and a half left. We'll be back on our main channel streaming like we were never gone. So thank you guys for enjoying this video. Hit thumbs up, smash the thumbs up button like your middle name is Khabib. It is what it is. Let the Fulltime family know what you think in the comments. I'm out.
Bye, Felicia.